Hi Ashish, good morning and a very warm welcome to the 10x Growth Strategies podcast. Extremely pleased to have you here. And before we get started, if you can introduce yourself a bit.
Sure. Hi, Madhavi. Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Thank you.
Here too. Thank you for having me here. And I'm Ashish Agrawal. I'm currently in Gurgaon, and I work with this digital engineering powerhouse called Nagarro. And I grew up in Bombay, and but have been living in Gurgaon for the past almost a decade now. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Okay. That's nice, Ashish. Your title says you drive non-linear growth at Nagarro. While at a language level it is indicative of what you may be doing, I'll be interested in knowing what exactly you do at Nagarro, right? What kind of work does that translate as?
Sure. So at Nagarro, I'm responsible for growing our business, and growth comes one in increments, and one is about identifying strategies for, let's say, new geographies or new functional areas with which, if we embed them into our way of working or into our business, we are able to achieve non-linear growth or growth which is more towards exponential at least.
Okay.
So, yeah,
All the best on your mission.
thank you.
Thank you. So let's get started with your reading habit, Ashish. So, what kind of genre do you gravitate towards, and how do you make the time to read? If you are comfortable sharing, how many books do you read typically in a year? Talk about it.
Sure. So, reading, I think, is the best habit that I have inculcated over a period of time because it gives you company. Especially when you're facing challenges, when you have to look inwards, when you have to think, or even when you want to just relax. I think the enjoyment that I derive from reading is unparalleled. And I end up reading, I think, almost a book a month. And the genres, I read all kinds of genres. So whether it's literature, history, mystery, storybooks. I also have a daughter. She's 15, and she enjoys reading a lot. So we do end up exchanging books. And yeah, I end up reading some of her books, and she ends up reading some of mine. Although she doesn't enjoy mine so much as I enjoy hers. So
Naturally.
yeah,
Uh,
so yeah.
That's nice. So, do you read daily or it's like in pockets? You read over weekend, you read during holidays and things like that, or do you have a fixed schedule before you end the day? You read as many pages. Is it like that, Ashish?
Yeah, it's an end of day habit actually. Yeah, mostly towards the end of the day,
Wonderful,
but
amazing.
it's every day. Yeah.
Nice, wonderful, Ashish. Thanks. Glad to know that. Now, when we were discussing what book to choose for this conversation, I noticed you had, of course, proposed three titles, and Siddhartha was in the top of your list, right? So maybe if you can tell us why that book is, so impactful for you, and hence why was top of it? I mean, why was that top of your list for this discussion, Ashish?
Yeah, so Siddhartha is one of the best books that I have read, and it actually takes you on a journey inward. And the amount of peace I got when I was reading that book, because you can think so much and you can connect with a lot of your thoughts and a lot of your challenges that go on in your mind. So this is one of the books that allows you to connect with your own self at various levels, I would say. And the messages that you get from this book, the biggest message for me being of letting go is so important. That if you are able to achieve those things in life, then you really achieve a lot of peace and feel inner peace a lot, in that. So I really enjoy this book, and it's not just a book that I read once. It's a book that I keep coming to again and again, just to be able to experience it. And it's also a very thin book, I must say. So easy to finish it multiple times if you want to.
Yeah. I mean, if I have to be honest with you, yeah, of course, I've heard great feedback about the book from many people. And incidentally, I've had an atheistic upbringing. So for me, getting over that and, learning to appreciate spiritual writing is a tough task. I had read it, I think, a couple of years ago. So when you proposed the title, I had to go back to the book, reread it. For me, more than the contents, of course, I will also get to the messages. And what amazes me is somebody back 100 years ago has been able to write about the book, which is entirely, almost entirely about Indian spirituality and things. But the person has never set foot in India. That's something that amazed me. And, even after 100 years, the book continues to be relevant for a worldwide audience. I was reading that 4 million copies sold and, translated into 60 languages and things like that. So that is something amazes me. And the author apparently got a Nobel Prize as well. So, yeah, a lot of interesting anecdotes around the author and the book itself. We'll get to the themes in a while, Ashish. So, yeah, you said you have read the book multiple times. It connects with you at different levels, right? And which segment in Siddhartha's life, if I have to recall, he is born a Brahmin boy and then he leaves that life. He goes into the forest, follows Buddha for some time, and then he again starts feeling empty. He goes into the materialistic world or the city life, then meets a woman and then goes on to learn trading and so on. Eventually comes back to the forest, right? So, which of these steps spoke the most to you as you read it? And you're also saying you keep going back to the book, right? So, which of those talk to you the most?
I think all of them have a different message, and you learn different things in the journey. So when you connect all of them together is when it really hits you what the book is trying to say, or at least for me personally, the experience that I gain. Because it's the cumulative collection of all of those different experiences that make up the actual narrative and what I feel the author is trying to say. So I'm able to connect it in that way. So yeah, while he's an ascetic, or when he is actually living the normal life of a person, or when he is living by the river, in all of those stages, there are different learnings. But to me, the fact that he's gaining all those different experiences, and when all of those experiences connect together, is when he gets his realization, is the most important thing for me and what I enjoy the most.
Yeah. So, how do you think the book has impacted you, Ashish, be it personally or in professional capacity? What is something, you connect back, oh yeah, this is how it was in Siddhartha's experience? So is there something that you connect back? You go through a challenge, be it on personal front or on professional front, then, you connect back. What is that, Ashish? Talk about it.
Yeah, for me, the main thing is, as I was mentioning, that letting go. So even the pain that he feels at the end with the respect to his son, and with his son going back into the forest and into the city, and then him losing him, and then he thinking about his father and how his father would have pined for him. And it's sort of a circle of life that he is seeing in his thought process. So that is the main message for me around letting go, and that's the thing that I reflect a lot upon when I'm reading or rereading the book. It's it's about that, you really do not have anything in your control, and the only thing you can do is live your experiences and pause and think. But the most important thing is eventually to let go and not feel too attached to the outcomes or to life. So yeah, so that's the thing that really comes to me. And even when I'm living my daily life, something that I really like looking back and thinking about.
That's amazing, Ashish. Even for me, where he talks about his son, I think there's another message which sort of indicates you as a parent cannot go and, you know, you won't be able to go and make your children's life easier. They have to go through the struggles. They have to have their own realizations. As parents, you cannot really aspire or want to make their lives simple, and they're not going to realize it, right? So that was a thing that struck a chord. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. And we try and do that so much.
yeah,
Let me tell them what to do. Let me help them with their thinking.
yeah,
Yes, you can share thoughts, you can exchange ideas,
yeah,
you can share your experiences, but to try and change their life or to try and say that, oh, let me push them into a certain direction so that their life is easier,
yeah,
or let me try and inculcate discipline in them through constantly nudging them uh, and hoping that that just impacts. It's not going to happen.
yeah.
What they have to learn, they have to learn. What you have to learn, you have to learn as well. Same thing, right, with our own parents.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. And only when you become a parent, you realize the pains of your own parents. Yeah, that was
exactly.
a very brilliant takeaway. And one other thing I liked was about knowledge can be imparted, but wisdom cannot be imparted. Wisdom is something we earn through our own journey and experiences and self-discovery and so on. Right? That was also um, very thing for me.
Yeah, when his friend is also trying to learn from others' learning, and he meets Buddha in his life, and they have always been living with the Brahmins, and there has been knowledge all around. So absolutely, like the thing where he talks about words and words having a certain power only, and you can only take away so much from words, but when you are actually experiencing life and you're feeling things and you're feeling emotions, that learning and that takeaway that you have inside you, that is just mind blowing and changes your life so much because yeah, what the wisdom that you can gain from actually living the life is much more powerful than just by reading or through teachings of others, and hoping that somehow just by reading some books or by following someone or their words itself will change your life or you will get enlightenment from that is not going to happen.
Yeah.
You have to come through living life uh, and also not living life in extremes, thinking that I will let go of everything and oh, I will live a life of an ascetic and I will not have any belongings and give myself a lot of pain and suffering, or not letting myself experience love and feelings. So life is not on the extremes. Actually, life is somewhere in the balance of the two. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's real wisdom. You're absolutely right that that's what you gain eventually, and not through just reading and hearing others speak.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that, Ashish. Didn't you find the language a little bit intense for the book? I mean, maybe I am too much of that rational thinking person still, or I would like everything to be put in simple words whatsoever. Right? While I was reading, why is the language so, or why isn't it put in simpler sentences or something? I was always wishing for, because honestly, when I read it the first time, why is there so much positive, extreme positive feedback for this story? Okay, the boy grows up, he's a Brahmin, he, then follows Buddha. Okay, fine, he learned something there, he's still feeling backwards, then he's moving to the city life, then he learns to make money and all that, then he feels backwards still, he goes into the forest, lives by the river. This is my simplified version of Siddhartha's story. And second time also when I read it, several places those sentences are slightly hard to or it's a simple message. Why isn't the author making it simple? Was a question that kept lingering. Given you have gone back to the book multiple times, what age group do you think should read the book? What is the right age for anyone to pick up the book?
I think the book is for all ages. Yes, when you are more experienced and you have experienced life yourself, then it becomes more relatable. But it really depends on your maturity and when you feel that you can take on those kind of messages and those thinking. So I have seen kids who are way ahead of their time, and then there are adults who are still struggling. So we have the whole spectrum in ourselves, and so I wouldn't say that the book is for a certain age group. Yes, the more experienced you are or the more mature you are, the more you are able to connect with it. Although, so to the point that you're making on language, that I fully agree. It's there are many sentences which are very hard to follow. And for me, even today, I mean, when I go through it again, I skip some of the sentences. I just have to move forward and let go of certain thoughts because it's too jumbled up. Or
Yeah,
the language doesn't always relate.
yeah,
But the good thing that I like that the author does is he repeats the messages many times.
yeah, yeah,
He comes back and the core thing that he's trying to say in a particular part of the book, he keeps coming back to it. And that is very good because you really understand what he's trying to get at, and it's very difficult to miss the message or the core takeaway that he's trying to deliver in that. And there I find the simplicity that you're looking for, that the author is not trying to say many things at the same time, but is trying to convey few things in a repeated way. So there I felt that simplicity, but yeah, I agree that some of the sentences are hard to follow. But I will also say that some things are so stark and so real in
hmm,
that book that it, for example, it really pushes for a person to think that if you're hard versus if you're soft, it is so different. So the prouder and the harder that your heart is, the more injustice and sins you do. So this is one of the things that the author was trying to convey. And the and then there is so much more learning cycles that you have to go through as an individual. And the softer you are, so just like the river or water flowing, right, you're able to navigate all kinds of scenarios. You find a path of least resistance and you move forward in life. Versus if you are hard, if you're stuck on a certain thinking, then you're just stuck with it. And you may feel that, oh no, this is how it has to be done. And when you push for a certain agenda, then there is pushback that comes with it, right? Versus if you just try and navigate your way through things, it's much easier and much lighter is how you feel. But frankly, I'll say it's even I struggle to follow some of these things, and probably that's why I keep going back to the book. That in life, you tend to uh, behave a certain way. It may be who you are or what it is, and then you have to remind yourself that it's not needed to be like this,
right,
and
yeah,
you don't have to be so attached or so hung up on things. And have to let go. So yeah.
That reminded me also, Ashish. I think there's this sentence which says, soft is stronger than hard, like water can soften the rock. Right? That parallelism was very nice to note. So, which
Well,
is true in life also, right? People who are actually strong may come across as soft spoken people, but they are emotionally very strong and matured and they can handle a variety of situations very good. Whereas someone may come across as loud and boisterous and strong, etc., but maybe they are actually not that strong. So that was a very interesting message. I liked it too. So, good. Any favorite quotes from the book that you keep going back to, Ashish? Of course, given that the author's writing is not really simple sentences in many places, are there any, your top of mind quote from the book?
yeah, I would say the opposite of every truth is as true. So
Exactly.
that that is one sentence that hit me really hard as well. That just because you feel this is your truth, it doesn't make it true. It's about perspectives. It's about experiences. It's about how you have lived it, and something may feel it's exactly the opposite, and that is definitely a lie. But when you are looking at it from the other person's perspective, their shoes, then you will realize that it's actually as true as your truth is, and that comfort in being able to embrace the other person's truth is so important, and just knowing that your truth is not necessarily the truth, and this is actually what is very useful in day to day life also, where we sometimes feel that, oh, that person is trying to do certain things which are wrong for me, or is making it hard for everyone else, but it is actually that person's truth. And if you take the time to reflect, just like the book is talking about, that you are at the river and you are constantly pausing and reflecting, and if you pause and reflect and you think about what that person is trying to do or what other people are trying to do, then you realize that the truth is not just one thing. The truth can be many things, and so that, I think, really is very good.
Amazing. Thanks, Ashish. So, just out of curiosity, how many times have you read the book so far? I've read it twice. So, what is your count?
At least 5 times.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
And
5 times at different ages or age groups also. So
okay.
probably I picked it up for the first time when I was 18 or 19, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, so I read it back in time, and uh, I read it last month as well.
Wow.
So at
Okay.
least 5 times, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
the messages are so amazing in this book, and like I said, right, it's a inward journey mostly. It just pushes you to think for your own self and the reflection that you need to have.
Hmm.
So I think that's the reason probably I keep going back to this book, that
Okay.
pushes you to take that inward journey.
Lovely. And is there a specific trigger that for you to go to the book? For me, the second trigger was, us choosing this book for today's discussion. But for you, is there a deeper trigger? You go through something intense and then you feel, no, I have to go now, read the book to see, what messages evolve this time. Is it something like that?
Yeah, when I'm looking for peace and calm is when I'm reading this book. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. And I'm sure you would have read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is something that I can like absolutely connect with. Maybe I have to do few more iterations of reading Siddhartha before I can speak as deeply about it as you do. But I like, most of the takeaways that you mentioned. I think those spoke to me as well. Number one was about, parents' aspiration of wanting to make life smoother for kids, which is, inappropriate or illogical in itself. And the second thing about wisdom and this hard versus soft thing also was very impactful. Any other closing remarks, be it on the book or anything else about reading itself that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, I would probably pick something from the book itself because of my love for it, since you have given me this option. So, the one thing I would say is that the book also talks about that when we are just on the journey to search and we are constantly looking, we miss out the big things that are happening in life. We miss out on things that we could have received. So, instead of just being on the constant search, let also life happen to you. And when you let life happen to you, you are able to receive things and you're able to actually experience things much better. And otherwise, when you're on your own journey, you are just so focused that you may actually miss out on a lot of good things. And this I'm saying more from my own personal life experience, that when I have always been too focused, many a times it doesn't give the same experiences when you just let go and you just let life happen to you. So that was the other thing. Even in fact, enlightenment at the end, when his friend Govinda is trying to get that and he's trying to follow Buddha's teachings to the T and really living that life. But when he sees Buddha and he sees his face and he sees his experiences through his face, so it's a wordless thing. It's just experiences, and it doesn't come from just following a path. It comes from this life letting it happen to you. So I think that would be my closing comment. For me.
Lovely, Ashish. But then if we connect back to the narrative in the book, Siddhartha is actually searching, right? He's searching for learning or getting to know himself and things like that. He's on a constant search. So
Yeah.
I think eventually when he goes and lives by the river, that's when the realization happens that one needn't search, you let life happen, and then, at the end of it, you are going to anyway have that enlightenment. Is that how you connect? And am I
Yes, if you see in the book, right, and you're rightly saying that he is always searching.
yeah,
So if you see in the whole book, he's actually just searching, and his thirst is not getting quenched. He's
yeah.
always like, oh, when will this happen? When will this happen? And oh, this is not working for me. Let me take the next thing. And then finally he lets go. Finally he falls in love with his son, and he's totally attached to him, and that search sort of stops for him, and then he has to let go of his son and he has to let go of that feeling, and there is immense pain. So what that immense pain does to him is he stops thinking, and his search sort of stops, and things happen to him,
Mm,
and that's when he actually achieves that serenity of Buddha that his friend finds in him.
right.
So the constant search actually doesn't give him the outcome, and the outcome comes when he actually stops searching and he just accepts and embraces life.
Lovely, lovely, amazing, amazing, Ashish. And I think I have personally learned few more things about the messages from the book and how it really impacts us as readers from you. Thank you for being so resourceful. Thanks for offering to come up here and talk about it. Totally enjoyed the conversation, and I'm sure I will also do two, three more readings of the book as it gets down the line. Yeah, thank you. Pleasure talking to you,
Thank
Ashish.
you for having me, Madhvi, and thank you for making the time as well. And wish you a good Sunday.
Yeah, thank you. Happy weekend again.